Rockies and Dodgers game 2 of this 3-game set. Crowd of 43,000+ last night. They expect at least the same this evening. Back upstairs with the Southern California native, Ryan Spilborghs. I'm Drew Goodman, so we've already talked about pitching. Kershaw and Chatwood tonight. Let's talk about the leadoff man for the Rockies. That's always a popular subject. The bearded one, Charlie Blackmon. He had a great year last year, and you know what? He's doing even better this year.
It's pretty incredible. You look at the splits. He's hitting .323 off lefties, just over that against righties, and there's a reason. He is leading Major League Baseball in hits. The names in there, Corey Dickerson, of course, a former Rocky, Ender Inciarte, Daniel Murphy, and Avisail Garcia. It's amazing watching Charlie Blackmon. When you talk about a player that has gotten better over time, he has really proven that with his work ethic, the way he prepares, he is ready for every single matchup he sees.
Yeah, he's actually on pace, or close to the pace that Dante Bichette set when he produced the club record 219 hits back in '98. And the reason he will always be in these kinds of conversations, he never comes off the field.
No, he doesn't, and I think he has a chance to break it. I think 219 hits is well within reason if you think about Charlie Blackmon, because here's a guy, when you're leading off, you're going to get a lot more bats, a lot more opportunities. And for Charlie, where he's been at, where he is mentally, the fact that he doesn't think about stats, he puts his earmuffs on, I think he can get him.
He had a leadoff single last night. Hopefully he'll do the same tonight, get the Rockies going against Clayton Kershaw. We are set for the matchup. We are set for baseball. It is the Rockies and Dodgers. Come on back to the City of Angels with us. And we welcome you back to Los Angeles, Dodger Stadium, a few minutes from downtown. Rockies fans in the house, and there are plenty of them, as the Rockies open up play tonight, 2.5 games behind the Dodgers. The Dodgers have won 8 straight. They've won 9 in a row here at Dodger Stadium. Clayton Kershaw is good everywhere he goes. He's 10-2 with a .261 ERA. He has won 136 games in his extraordinary career. Charlie Blackmon, he'll bring a .327 average into the ballpark tonight, on base at just under 400. Batting order: DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado, Mark Reynolds, Ian Desmond. Again, Cargo sitting this one out. Could be available later on for a pinch hitting situation. He has that slightly sore right shoulder. Story, Tapia, Tom Murphy again against the lefty, and Tyler Chatwood. Kershaw is ready to go. Charlie Blackmon steps in. His next hit will be number 100 on the year. The outfield with a slight shade toward left, and the first pitch of the ball game is in there, strike one, according to C.B. Buckner. And that is not unusual. He throws a first pitch strike 68% of the time. It's fifth best in baseball. And he goes to that slider, a pitch he added after his first couple of years in the league. And Spilly, I know you always have said that was the separator. He was really good, and then he went with the slider and he became otherworldly.
I always felt like Clayton Kershaw was the golden boy of baseball. The slider was taught to him by Rick Honeycutt. The curveball was taught to him by a Hall of Famer himself, Sandy Koufax. It's pretty good teachers.
Nice to be able to have those two as professors, huh? 1-2 on Charlie. And that's inside, 2-2.
Some of the numbers for Clayton Kershaw are surprising when you think of the mix. He is a three-pitch mix. It's a fastball, curveball, and slider. The fastball that averages about 93 miles an hour only throws it 42% of the time.
And that's the pitch you have to lay off of. I thought against Alex Wood last night, who was sensational again. The Rockies got 3 hits in the first couple innings. After that, he threw up zeros. 19 straight were retired by a combination of Wood and the bullpen. But Charlie had really good at bats against Wood. He spit on some borderline pitches. Here's the 3-2.
Great at bat to start it off. Clayton trying to find what pitches are working for him tonight. Gave up 4 home runs in the last start to the New York Mets. Granted, I think when I look at some of the numbers, they're a bit skewed. The Dodgers have led a lot of times that Clayton's in there, and he will pitch to contact.
Well, he gave up 6 runs in 6 1/3. To your point, he still got the victory. First time he's given up that many runs in a few years. And this ball's lined to Puig in right. It was a good at bat, but that ball right at the Dodger right fielder. Some more on the resume of Clayton Kershaw.
Well, Clayton Kershaw is 10-2 this year, and one more win would give him the major league lead. The 2.61 ERA, still pretty good. I still am amazed when you're looking at the amount of innings pitched. 115 strikeouts, only 17 walks. He will use fastball, slider, curveball. The curveball is his best secondary pitch as far as changing the eye level, but it's the back foot slider that he will throw to righties to get the punch out.
So here's LeMahieu, and that fastball is up and away at 93. DJ's still all fired up. LSU knocked Oregon State out of the College World Series, and LSU is into the College World Series finals against the winner of Florida and TCU tonight. DJ still tries to get back at least for an autumn weekend, go to a football game down in Baton Rouge. And this ball is slammed to deep left field, and it is going to one hop off the wall. Bellinger is out there, and he'll throw it back in. Into second with a double is LeMahieu. So 2 at bats and 2 well-struck baseballs. That's a good sign.
It's a great sign, and you can see Clayton Kershaw still trying to figure out his location. He's missed a lot of location this season. That's why he's getting hit so hard. Even if you're one of the best pitchers in baseball, you miss up, this curveball hanging. DJ just drops the barrel on it. I love the contact. You see his body completely connected on the Subaru Supermo. Cody Bellinger in left field, giving Chase Utley an opportunity to start at first base tonight, made a heck of a throw.
Well, they say that Cody Bellinger is a plus defender at both first base and in the outfield. And we know he can swing the bat. So here's Nolan. He can swing the bat. 1-0. Nolan at 297, 15 home runs. He's driven in 59. Last night, he was 0 for 4. The Rockies did not have a hit last night after the second. They didn't have a base runner after a 2-out walk to Reynolds in the third. It was Wood, Maeda, Morrow, and Romo shutting them down. That's up 2-0. You don't get many opportunities. We said this last night against Wood and the Rockies in the first inning, second and third, 1 out, did not score. You got to take advantage every time you get even the slightest of opportunities against a guy like a Kershaw, a guy like a Wood. Tomorrow it'll be the same deal with Brandon McCarthy.
Well, I thought last night was so important to score first against Alex Wood. He had him on the ropes in the first inning and they let him off.
2-0 off speed, 2-1. Nolan has had his moments, plenty of them in fact, against Kershaw. 310 lifetime average with a couple of home runs. Not too many guys can brag that they've hit over 300 against Kershaw and slugged over 500 against Kershaw. That's a real small list. In fact, there are 2 Rockies on it. Unfortunately, only one is available, the guy you're looking at. Gerardo Parra, left on left, has had great numbers against Kershaw. Two and two. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Here's the list of the 5 guys that have hit over 300 and slugged better than 500 against Kershaw. Pujols, a future Hall of Famer. McCutchen, you know what kind of player he is, and if Nolan continues on the path he's on, we'll be talking about him 10 years from now as a guy that'll be Cooperstown worthy. It's a good group to be associated with, huh?
Are you kidding me?
2 and 2 on Arenado. 3 and 2. We fouled that all the way into the glove. Estes Park tonight. Give me something to high-five strangers about. Three-two, and Nolan keeps the at-bat alive. He's staying away from the heater. He's not throwing him a four-seamer.
Now, the last start that he had, Clayton Kershaw was throwing the fastball 42% of the time, and I feel like part of the reason why he's doing that is because he has been missing with his location with the fastball. He's given up 12 home runs already this season with the fastball, which is obviously a shock when you start looking at those numbers.
Mark Reynolds on deck. It was a perfect evening to take in a ball game. Just ideal. 1 out, LeMahieu at second. And a line shot, and it's going to end up a base hit. Kike Hernandez kept that out of the outfield. LeMahieu remains at second.
That's 3 quality at bats by the first 3 Rockies hitter. DJ obviously with the double, but Nolan another grinding at bat against Clayton. They are seeing the baseball very well off of him. Subaru Supermo, Kike Hernandez, who is playing pretty much in the 5.5 hole, does his best to backhand it.
Those are 3 Rockets.
3 Rockets.
So now here's Reynolds. And that bounces up there. Grandal with the pick. Mark 5 for 30 lifetime against Kershaw with a home run. It's weird to say, but I think he prefers to see Kershaw than Wood. He just does not. He told us before the game he just has trouble picking up Alex Wood. He's not alone, though. A lot of guys have trouble picking up Alex Wood. This is bounce foul. 1-1. Chase Utley, who is a natural second baseman, playing first base this year quite a bit, is off the bag about 40 feet. And according to first base umpire Mark Carlson, he went around 1-2. No argument from Reynolds.
First inning of last night's game, Mark Reynolds had the key at bat, struck out against Alex Wood. And then it puts a lot of pressure on Ian Desmond.
We always talk, Spilly, about the great ones being able to get themselves out of trouble when they're in the stretch. And the really great ones, like the Kershaws of the world, they get a lot of strikeouts in these situations. Talking about the home runs earlier this year, the Rockies hit 3 in a game against Kershaw. That was at Coors Field. It's been a 21 pitch inning already. But you got to get something out of it. 2-2. Really high quality at bats.
4 straight. And I feel like Clayton's doing something where it's easier for the Rockies hitters to see it. I mean, they've seen him a lot of times. But the way the ball's moving tonight, the way that the Rockies have taken at bats, the way that Rockies have spit at the off-speed pitches, they must be seeing the baseball very well against Kershaw.
2-2. Kershaw's last 4 home games, he's 2-0, but he has an ERA a little over 4. And Mark battles away. I think you're right on the money, Spilly, and I know you insert yourself back in that batter's box. You face Kershaw a bunch. Corey Sullivan will be along in a minute. He's faced him a bunch, but you can tell when a hitter's seeing the arsenal, can't you?
You really can, because it's the takes. Rockies have had good takes. The only bad take was a Mark Reynolds check swing. And even that was a coin flip.
And now it's full on Reynolds. Desmond's on deck. Mark was swatting away gnats last night at first base. Now he's doing it at home plate.
Maybe you should shower more.
What's wrong with you?
Everything.
3-2, 1 out. Just underway at Dodger Stadium. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. That is rare. That's just the 18th walk in this his 16th start. So the Rockies with the bases loaded here in the top of the first as we glance at the Dodgers defensively for Dave Roberts. Cody Bellinger went from first base to left field. The big notation tonight is Peterson's back out there. Puig didn't start. He came into the game yesterday with the injury to Seager. Tight hamstring, slight strain on the hamstring. So Kike Hernandez is at shortstop. Doubt we'll see Seager the rest of this series. Turner, Forsythe, Utley round out the infield, and Grandal is behind the plate tonight. So here's Desmond with the bases loaded. Tough man to double. And a good swing by Ian.
Desmond has faced Clayton Kershaw 32 times, does not have very good numbers. 125 batting average against him, but it does not matter. What matters is this at bat right here. Huge at bat for the Rockies early on.
And Desmond's been great so far. Runners in scoring position at 386. You see the numbers with the bases loaded. So Kershaw comes after him with fastball, something he did not really do with the last two hitters in the middle of the lineup, Arenado and Reynolds. Another reason Kershaw, as you look at that graphic, has been so great. On the rare occasions you load the bases, he doesn't give up much. One and two. I'm talking about a 30-plus pitch inning, but you got to keep coming back to it. You can't just say, well, we really put pressure on him in the first. You got to nick him. One, two. Now it'll come down to Trevor Story with 2 outs.
Back foot slider for Clayton Kershaw. That's his bread and butter. He goes to this pitch when he needs a strikeout. Desmond down 0-2. Missed 2 fastballs and on the Subaru Supermo. A great slider of Clayton Kershaw. He's telling CB Buckner he wasn't yelling at him. As Desmond was walking off, he was yelling at himself.
6 at bats for Story against Kershaw. He has a couple of hits. And he takes a strike. Double by LeMahieu. A sharp shot to shortstop for an infield hit by Arenado, and the walk to Reynolds. And Kershaw now is ahead 2 strikes.
He found his location, his release point with his slider.
Here's the 0-2. And that is strike 3. Well, the Rockies load the bases. They get nothing out of it. Middle of first. No score. Tyler Chatwood to the mound next. Everything against Clayton Kershaw except the most important thing, score. They hit the ball hard, they had lengthy at-bats, they loaded the bases, but they could not come up with a key hit or even a productive out. So they do not score against Kershaw on the top of the first. Tyler Chatwood will set his sights on Chase Utley. He'll be the first up for the Dodgers. Here's the rest of their batting order presented by Southwest Airlines. Jock Peterson will bat second. He's hitting just .225. And then it's Turner. He's been unbelievable again this year. He's at .392. Bellinger, Grandal, Logan Forsythe, Yasiel Puig, who's done much better in the lower portion of the lineup, Kike Hernandez, and Kershaw. Southern Cal native Tyler Chatwood out of Redlands, California, east of LA, and the first pitch at the knees for a strike. And Chatwood's numbers overall 6 and 7, and there continues to be a large disparity between what he's done on the road and what he's done at Coors Field. He shakes off, and the next pitch is in there, a strike as well. 0-2 quickly on Utley.
Well, when Chatty's at his best, he trusts his two-seam fastball. Will use the slider, and his curveball, which everybody keeps telling him to use more of, is starting to use more of. 12%, but in his last start, used it 15% of the time. So he's starting to use it more and more. He's trusting his stuff. And if you ask Steve Foster, his biggest adjustment was a mental adjustment. He's trusting himself and attacking hitters with his great stuff.
He likes to pitch in LA. I've never met a pitcher yet who doesn't like to pitch at Dodger Stadium. And this is slowly hit foul. Utley started slowly this year, and then he's picked it up since that slow beginning, hitting close to 300 over the last month and a half. .38-year-old who always will be fondly remembered in Philadelphia. Strikes out swinging, so a nice beginning for Tyler Chatwood. It's the Rockies with the gloves. They're #1 defensively in the National League by fielding percentage, #2 in baseball. And overall, they have had the second most chances of any team in the National League, which further supports how well they've played defensively. Desmond and Tapia on the corners. Tapia struggled a little bit last night defensively, but as he moves forward in his big league career, he should be a plus defender. Throws well, typically takes good routes. Last night he had a throw get away from him a little bit.
It was a rough night defensively for Tapia in right field.
Peterson takes strike one.
Dodger Stadium can be difficult for any outfielder. And for a player playing in a position he's not quite comfortable at Dodger Stadium, this can be a nightmare for an outfielder.
You learn from experience, right?
You have to. If you don't, you won't get any better.
No other teacher, and the best teacher. 2 strikes on Peterson. Murphy sets up away, and it's fouled off at 97.
Peterson was recently reinstated, went on the concussion protocol dating back to June the 13th. Went down to the minor leagues. 3 for 9 with 2 home runs.
I'll tell you what, lineup construction when Corey Seager's not available is difficult for Dave Roberts. Stayed off the slider, and it's 1 and 2. Seager, is going to hit in that first portion of the lineup, #2 typically in front of Justin Turner, and then Bellinger has become their cleanup man. But your options to hit second, Peterson, Yasiel Puig, and there's the second strikeout. Logan Forsythe, but all those guys have struggled. Puig's had a pretty good year, but it's been down at the bottom of the lineup, Corey Sullivan, where there's less pressure on him. So why mess with that? So Dave Roberts has to put a high strikeout guy tonight in that 2 spot in Jock Peterson.
Yeah, I think he's trying to protect him, though. You got Turner, who's one of the hotter hitters in the game, behind him, trying to get some fastballs. But you're right. With a guy like Tyler Chatwood with a big fastball, he is going to be a potential strikeout candidate all day long.
Here's Turner. Turner hits everybody except Tyler Chatwood. See those numbers, Billy? He's not done much against Tyler in his career.
When Chatty's on, his stuff is as good as it comes. Heavy sinker, swing and miss stuff with the secondary pitches. And if he's on, I'm looking forward to see C.B. Buckner punch out quite a few Dodgers. He's got a good strikeout call.
Turner just 2 for 13 lifetime against Chatwood. 2-0, and now he falls behind 3-0. That's on the inside corner. Well, Murphy was set up away. You can see the movement on it, and you're talking about 96, 97 with late life. And he loses him. So after striking out the first two, he walks Turner, and that'll bring up Bellinger. And that'll get a rise out of the crowd. The new star.
Fielder, number 35, Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger was on SportsCenter late night with Scott Van Pelt. And during the interview with Scott Van Pelt, it became known that Cody Bellinger had no idea who Jerry Seinfeld was. It made Scott Van Pelt feel very old about himself. And so we will spend majority of tonight dropping Seinfeld references during Bellinger's at-bats.
What's your leadoff?
Well, it's the only adult, mature thing to do.
Yeah, what's your first reference?
Already did it.
He mentioned the bisque.
2-0. Does make you feel old. Then you remember that Bellinger's 21. You do the math and you say Seinfeld was off the air by then.
Still reruns, aren't there?
You think these young guys watch reruns of anything?
Everybody's cutting cords. No.
And that's lifted to left field pretty deep. Desmond is there. Will make the catch on the warning track. And that's all for the Dodgers in the first. Turner left on base. We'll go to inning number 2. It's Kershaw and Chatwood from Dodger Stadium.
No soup for you.
Brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why TravelWyoming.com. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. That is also a gorgeous sunset. No scores. We go to the top of the second with Corey Sullivan and Ryan Spilborghs, the former Rockies. I'm Drew Goodman. Raimel Tapia in the 7-hole will lead off and face Mr. Kershaw for the first time. Last night, starting in right field, he was 0 for 3. And he swings and misses. Kershaw threw over 30 pitches in that first inning. The Rockies, if you're just jumping on board, loaded the bases. They hit the ball very hard. But then back-to-back strikeouts of Desmond and Story. That kind of mirrored what happened last night. The Rockies had second and third, 1 out. Reynolds struck out. Desmond struck out against Alex Wood. They did scratch out a run in the second against Wood, but that was all. That was the entirety of their offense last night. Tapia fighting off the pain of fouling the ball off his shin. He's going to get attended to by Scotty Garrett. See where exactly it hits him.
Oh, no, that part. I still have a bruise on my ankle from hitting baseballs right there. I'm sure Corey has one as well.
Yep, I got the permanent one.
Right off the top of the foot. That's why guys wear shin guards. I was not a fan of the shin guard or the foot guard. Corey, did you ever wear that thing?
I tried wearing it once, but unfortunately for myself, my calves weren't big enough to keep it on.
That's funny.
And I'm dead serious. I hit one and I ran and it fell off, and I was like, well, I'll never do that again.
Small calves. 0-2. Curveball, and that's pulled foul. He's throwing a couple tonight, fellas, that have hung. It's not sharp yet.
Not sharp.
And hopefully it doesn't become sharp. But it's rolling tonight for Kershaw. It was the curveball that hung. The DJ hit one hop off the left field wall in the first inning. And that's a fastball at 92.
Something I'm noticing from down here, he's very deliberate today on the mound. Normally, Clayton works really quickly. And, I mean, even with DJ out on second, he was very, very, I don't want to say bothered, but a little bit pestered by DJ out there. And something's got him working a little bit slower.
And that is a strikeout of Tapia. That's 3 strikeouts in a row, 1 out. In the second, Tom Murphy will come up.
Catcher number 23, Tom Murphy.
Kershaw on the side of his slider. See it looked like it sounded like a foul tip.
Yeah, it looked like it and sounded like it from down here as well.
Tell Tommy was upset. C.B. Buckner said nope, he swung and missed. Murphy doubled in a run in the second last night. His first hit of the year. It was the only Rockies run yesterday. They fell 6-1. Last 3 ball games, the Rockies have been outscored by 21 runs. It's the 4th time this year they've lost 3 in a row. They have not lost 4 in a row yet. They look to avoid that this evening with Chatwood battling Clayton Kershaw at a Highland Park High School, Highland Park area in Dallas. Jerry Jones' kid, the quarterback at Highland Park. I should say Jerry Jones' grandson, not his kid. 1-1. Murphy pops this up. Foul ground. Grandal's going to have a play. 2 gone.
Body language of Clayton Kershaw is telling you he's finding something. He's grinding so far. I've seen him yell at his glove probably 3 or 4 times just in the first 2 innings with the way the curveball is coming out of his hand.
Well, the leader of the team, they're 2 guys. Justin Turner, the 3rd baseman, and Clayton Kershaw. And in Dodgerland, they say you don't want to get that stare from number 22.
Especially on game day, you leave him alone.
Chatwood loops this one foul, and Utley reroutes and makes the catch. So a 1-2-3 efficient inning for Kershaw in the second. Middle of 2, no score. Monty Grandal batting 5th will be the first subject for Tyler Chatwood. Down in Albuquerque tonight, John Gray is making what he hopes to be his final rehab start, and his next appearance he hopes to be with the Rockies. And tonight he's thrown already 92 pitches and 430. He's allowed only 1 run, but he has walked 4, struck out 6, allowed 5 hits. He's been out since April the 14th. How much do you pay attention to a line for a guy on a rehab start?
Sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. I think with John Gray, you're looking at velocity, you're looking at location, and I know when you talk to Bud, he wants to hear about the ball-strike ratio. How is it? Is he throwing more strikes than balls? Is it 2-to-1? Is it 3-to-1? In the 5th inning, he was able to go. He walked 2 straight batters. He got to 2-0 on the current one, and then just had a double play. 94 strikes, 57 balls. That's not quite the ratio that he'd like to see.
That'd be a lot of pitches. 94 pitches, 57 strikes.
You know what I mean.
And Grandal takes a strike. That's a huge key for anybody. We're talking about Kershaw's greatness, 68% of the time, first pitch strike, top 5 in baseball. The converse is the case with Tyler Chatwood. It just illustrates how good his stuff is, because think about this. Chatty throws a first pitch strike 52% of the time. It's last in Major League Baseball. Last. He throws a strike overall at 58.8% of the time, which is second to last in Major League Baseball. Yet, we know batting average against, road ERA in particular, he's really tough to hit. So if he can up that strike total, don't think about where he'll be. 2-2 as that curveball bounces.
When you have a heavy sinker ball, sinker ballers typically have a higher walk rate. And the reason why is for obvious reasons. It's hard to control it.
That's a little cutter. Fouled off by Grandal. Road ERA in the National League. Chatwood is 4th. Kershaw with a better road ERA than home ERA. Robbie Ray has had a terrific year for Arizona. The Rockies missed him. Curveball, see it. And that is a good strikeout call for the veteran umpire C.B. Buckner. That's 3 strikeouts in the first 5 hitters tonight
Logan
Let's listen to
Forsythe.
C.B. Buckner punching out Grandal.
It's one of my favorites. Jim Joyce had the great strike call. Another great strikeout call is Tom Hallion.
Tom Hallion.
Tom Hallion would break his neck.
Tom Hallion throws that uppercut. You don't want to be in the way of it. Sully, did you ever think if you were an umpire, what your strikeout call would be?
The bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow.
Yeah.
There's a strike.
I'm pulling out the arrow and firing the bow.
We got a camera on Corey. We got to get a visual on this.
It's you know, I want the hitter to leave the box defeated.
That's not the umpire's role. Is to
That's why I'm not an umpire. But I remember, like Tim McClellan, you'd never even hear him. You didn't know.
Listen, and McClellan was a great umpire, not just a good umpire, great umpire for a long time. Tim retired a couple years ago now. That a little bit up in the zone, I guess, 2-1. And so I have the greatest respect for him. I know you guys as players had great respect for McClellan, but it was hard to broadcast his games in that there was like a 3-second delay before he'd call a strike.
And he had the deliberate, like, ripping paper. That's what it looked like. Like he's trying to rip a newspaper in half.
That was a strike 3, but he was just a little fist, like 2.5. The ball was already back to the pitcher.
Well,
and a little fist.
for us at the plate, he makes a sound right away.
It's yip. That's all it is.
3-2. So McClellan, you guys can hear. That's great. But the rest of the ballpark and the people at home, the pitch would go across 1/1000, 2/1000.
Yeah.
That was it.
And then the strike 3 was.
And there's another walk. So strikeout or walk. That's pretty much been the theme tonight for Chatwood. Forsythe is hitting just 205, the 1-out walk, and that'll bring up Puig.
Chatty had 4 walks in his last start against the San Francisco Giants. He did go 6 innings, the 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. In a game like tonight, going up against one of the best, walks are going to cost you. At some point, they're going to come back and bite you.
And not only that, they take away, even if you're able to overcome them, they take away your ability to work really deep into a ball game unless you're getting, you know, some quick double plays behind it. And they need Chatty to work deep. Effectively, number 1, and deep, number 2.
You guys are talking about his sinker a little bit. He's working pretty effectively down in the zone, as we can see, but there's a fine line, especially with sinker ballers, that if they elevate it, it's right in the sweet spot. And you have to live dangerously on the bottom of that strike zone, which can create walks for Chatty, obviously. But, I mean, with the velo he's got now and the late life he's got moving, I expect, A, a lot of broken bats, and B, some ground ball outs.
Yeah, he's falling behind again, 2-0 on Puig. And that's low, 3-0. And this has always been Tyler in a nutshell. And it comes and goes. You can't just look and go, oh man, he's got his great command tonight, because you've seen, like, the first inning, he struck out Utley and Peterson pretty quickly, and then he walks Turner on 5 pitches. And there it is. That goes to the backstop. It won't cost Murphy, but on 4 pitches, he walks Puig, and you've created a situation.
Shortstop number 14, Kike Hernandez.
3 strikeouts, 3 walks as Kike Hernandez will come up. Foster will also. Steve Foster will go to the mound. Join in on the conversation tonight. Statements, thoughts. We've already had several of those. Use Twitter or Instagram. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk.
Tony Walters has been catching Tyler Chatwood, and I think so far in their young careers, it's fair to say Tony Walters is the better receiver between him and Murph. And Murphy is going to have to earn the trust of Tyler Chatwood. I think when you look at the fastball, 3-0 fastball going through the legs of Murphy, that does not bring a lot of confidence to a pitcher.
And that misses. And I agree with you. That's all well and good. I mean, Tony is a little more efficient receiver right now, but 41 walks coming into the ball game.
Yeah, it's not
working with Tony
Murphy.
primarily or
Exactly.
Dustin Garneau, and that's 2-0. You're in the right part of the lineup, you know, to get out of this, but you got to throw something up that is appealing. Hernandez probably be taken here. There's 6 straight pitches out of the zone. He's shocked if he's swinging. Well, he's swinging. Actually, I shouldn't say that because you have the pitcher behind you, so it just changes it a little bit.
Kike is looking to do damage.
And hitting in front of the pitcher. I should correct that. He has to be. Kike is one of those guys, especially early on, that gave the Dodgers a lift. He's got 7 home runs, a career high. 2 on, 1 out. And it's 3-1. Base hit. Logan Forsythe's going to get a green light. The throw toward the plate is cut off, and it's 1-0 LA. Frustrating. Frustrating #1 for Tyler Chatwood.
Well, you know the walks are going to come back and haunt you. And when you fall behind in the count, 3-1, Kike's looking to do damage. Pitcher on deck, he's going to be aggressive.
Well, you eliminate every other pitch.
Chris Woodward, the Dodgers' third base coach, quickly waving his arms around. Logan Forsythe never breaking stride. And as good as Ian Desmond's arm is in left field, there's not much of a shot at home plate.
And now Kershaw will try to bunt. One would assume. Murphy tried to get there to get the force at third. 0-1. You can't make those kind of it's like tennis. You hit the ball in the net, you know, when you're sitting there on the baseline and your opponent hasn't moved you at all. It's an unforced error. Big stat in tennis. That's an unforced error. You walk 2 guys, especially in the bottom of the lineup, when your margin for error facing a guy like Kershaw is very, very slim, coupled with the fact the Dodgers are the hottest team in baseball and also among the most talented teams in baseball. So you're making it really difficult on yourself. Having said all that, it's not like Tyler's unaware of that. It's not like he's going out trying to walk guys. This is in the air, and it'll be grabbed by Arenado. 2 outs.
Number 26.
Nolan's so good at his reaction, reading the throw, his ability to adjust on the fly. I mean, talk about elite athlete. Even though Nolan's not the fastest, he is so good with his ability to move laterally.
He's got good first step quickness, and I think, Corey, his ability to read
and anticipate, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like he's one of those guys who literally runs through every play in his head before it happens, so that he's able to react the way he needs to.
Utley hits it on the ground to first, and that will end the inning. And Chatwood will be a frustrated guy going to the dugout. 2 walks, and it hurts Tyler. 1-0 LA.
2-0 in the bottom half of the second inning. Clayton Kershaw on the mound. I talked to a couple of the guys about how they approach their routine against Clayton Kershaw. Time now for our UC Health Rock Your Routine.
I watch video.
Do you do anything different than any other guy?
He's doing different stuff right now.
Okay.
So I'll note his differences and then be ready for it.
Personally, I've faced him so many times. I sort of know what to expect. So I'll watch a little video on his last start, but you know, I feel like our team's faced him so many times. We kind of know what he's going to do.
He could watch all the video you want, but we know he's the best, and I think it's more of a mental thing. Just get ready to battle. It's just going to be a battle, but these are the things, you know. I think when it goes into these days, you're kind of like, man, we have to face Kershaw, but after you appreciate going against one of the best ever to do it, you know. So I'm excited. I'm always excited to come here and face him.
The thing that I found interesting about all of them is they all had a little bit of a variation of a different answer. They all watch a little bit of video, but when you got a guy like Kershaw, I think you draw on your experience. Spilly, I don't know how you did it when you got a guy like Kershaw on the mound, or, you know, Brandon Webb that we used to see. Did you watch a little bit of video? Did you, you know, just try and see what he threw in certain counts?
Yeah, I was watching video. I was trying to look for like hitters. I was looking for other right-handers that had no pop, had the slow bat speed, maybe a fourth outfielder, maybe a guy like Matt Diaz. So I looked for similar hitters to my abilities and saw how Clayton attacked them. So I watched a lot of pitchers hitting against Clayton.
Yeah. Matt Diaz. You're working with Matt once in a while, right?
Yeah, I did some radio with
MLB
him this
radio?
morning. Yeah, had to make fun.
1-2 on Charlie. He had a great at bat leading off the ball game and then lined out to Puig. He barreled it. He just hit it right at Yasiel and right. LeMahieu followed with a double off the base of the right field wall. Nolan barreled the ball up that ricocheted off Kike Hernandez. First and second, then Reynolds walked. He had the bases loaded, 1 out. And that is slowly hit to third with Turner there, 1 out. But the Rockies did not score in the first. Desmond struck out swinging. Story was caught looking at a fastball on an 0-2 pitch.
Number 9, DJ LeMahieu.
John Gray's evening is complete. He goes 5 innings. He allows just 1 run. He struck out 6. He did walk 4. That's a lot more than you'd like, naturally. Threw 94 pitches. Number 1, he's healthy. Number 2, they wanted to lengthen him out. So he looks to be ready to fit back into the Rockies rotation, and we'll get plenty more information on that tomorrow. Join us for our pregame show right here on Root Sports. DJ LeMahieu with a 1-0 count. And this ball's well hit to right, and Puig is going to have to backpedal. And he makes the catch. Puig's an outstanding outfielder. I was talking earlier to Nomar Garciaparra, who's working tonight in the booth on the television side for LA. And you'll see the route here. And I think that Puig has been sometimes criticized fairly for an aloofness, for an immaturity. But from a baseball standpoint, he came out of nowhere basically and put up prodigious numbers initially and had the huge arm and the big power, and he's got the body of a linebacker. And so the expectations, I think, and this is Nomar talking, who has seen him every day for a number of years, said became unfair. He said, if I told you you have a guy who's going to play Gold Glove caliber defense and hit 20 to 25 home runs, there's Nomar, and probably hit 240, 250, and play one of the corner outfield spots, and would you be happy? And most people say, yeah, absolutely, that's solid. That's a pretty solid guy. He goes, well, that's probably who he is, but everybody put him at this mythical level, Spilly.
He's been treated unfair for, I think, just because of the way he went about playing the game. He rubbed a lot of players the wrong way just based on his style of play.
Near the corner, and he's going to make the catch in foul ground. So the Rockies go in order, and this is what you worry about. Kershaw, since the Rockies loaded the bases, he's retired 8 straight. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. 1-0 LA. 2 walks and a base hit in the second. Produced that run for the Dodgers. Jock Peterson, Justin Turner, Cody Bellinger, 2, 3, and 4. This ball's lifted to center field and deep. And it's gone. 6th home run for Peterson. It's now 2-0. And that is 16 straight games for the Dodgers with a home run. That matches their longest stretch since moving from Brooklyn.
Jock wasting no time. First pitch of the inning, gets a fastball up in the zone. The super Mo. I do like the finish. I'm not sure I'd like the look back there.
Peterson is 5 for 10 against Tyler Chatwood. That's his first career home run.
My guess is Jock was told by Justin Turner to go ahead and swing first pitch. I mean, you'll hear that sometimes where a teammate tells you, hey man, just go up there firing first pitch. You're going to get one.
A 2-0 count on Turner, who walked in the first.
When things are going well, feels like everything's going right. And Jock, looking at his teammate Justin Turner, gives him a smile.
And a 4-pitch walk. That's 4 walks. That's not going to get it done. Tyler knows it. Nobody out. Now you have Bellinger coming up.
Number 35, Cody Bellinger.
45 walks, which is the most in the National League. Actually, it's 46 walks. Bellinger lets fly, 0-1. Hit the ball well to left, caught on the edge of the track by Desmond in the first to end that first inning. said this before. Chatwood, because of his great movement, tough to hit, also tough to catch.
So we pointed out the difference between Wolters and Murphy. Wolters sitting out tonight, probably especially because it's Clayton Kershaw left on left. But I also know that the Rockies really want to get Murphy more opportunities to play.
Well, they felt like going into the season before the broken arm that it was going to be a tandem, a 1-1A type of thing. There's the 1-2. Second time through the lineup. Chatty's been very solid. It just keeps coming back to the same thing. I mean, we sound like a broken record for Tyler. If he's around the zone, he's not going to get hurt. But when he puts guys on, that's when the damage comes, typically. Bellinger hits it in the air to center. One out, Grandal coming up, and here's a comparison, first, second, third time through the lineup for the two pitchers tonight.
Well, this was the marquee matchup for the Rockies. You want Tyler Chatwood to go up against Clayton Kershaw, but second, third time through the lineup, that's also where Chatty and Clayton start to separate themselves from each other. I know Tyler has been thinking about using his secondary stuff more the second time through to try to limit the numbers as they creep up second and third time through.
Grandal was caught looking his first time up. And CB Buckner indicates strike one. Dodgers have won 9 straight at home. Last year they had a 10-game home winning streak. Dodgers playing the best baseball of anybody in the sport right now. Remember a couple years ago they went on a 50-game run where they went 42-8. Wow. 2 years ago. 4 straight division titles for the Dodgers. Rockies know typically this division is going to run through LA or San Francisco. In the last 4 years, from a division title standpoint, it's been LA.
Yeah, but no World Series, no World Series victories.
No. Rockies believe they can play with them, and so far this year they have. They're 5-5 in 10 ball games. Down 2-0 here. Southside 2-2. Grandal's 5 for 10 against Chatwood. Really the two guys that stood out for having success, Grandal and Peterson, and now Grandal has some more success with a base hit. And that gets past, wow, Tapia. Turner's going to come around third, he's going to score. He was stopped at second base. And that is a rare and ugly miscue, and now it's 3-0. Tapia had a rough night last night in right field. I mean, that was, you know, it was first and second, 1 out. Now you have a runner at second, a run in.
The Rockies are not doing themselves any favors tonight with their defense and with a couple of walks. The ball will snake on outfielders based on the way it's cut. But that is just a flat whiff in the Subaru Supermo. No worse feeling in baseball than having to make an error and then go and retrieve it. Corey, what'd you see?
You know, I'm watching the replay right there. I was looking for him to pick his head up, but again, I think it's just one. He just misjudged. And, you know, errors do happen. They're just magnified in the outfield because you're the last line of defense.
And now the ball will find Toppy again. He's going to make the catch and makes a throw that is cuttable, which is necessary by your shortstop Story. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Puig. Pitch sequences are never exactly the same, but we can go ahead and say, okay, there'd be 2 outs, runners at first and second, if you want to play that game. You have to play well in every aspect to beat a really good team, and a team that's not only really good but really hot. Rockies had the makings of a good first inning on offense, couldn't follow through. Take Kershaw off the hook, and now he's locked in. And next time you look up, you're down 3 runs. And Murphy didn't catch that cleanly. It's 1-0.
However, plenty of game left. You do have a chance to completely wipe the slate clean. 3rd inning.
That's what you have to do. You always play on. Can't play backwards. Breaking ball low, 2-0. Puig walked his first time. Chatwood 3-0 in his last 4 road starts. Just a 1.73 ERA over those 4 roadies. 2 outs. 2-1 on Puig. Pitches in for Tyler, and it's a 50-50 split. In fact, 1 more pitch out of the zone than in the zone. Ball cut away, 3-2.
You can tell when a hitter makes up in his mind that he's trying to jump him, trying to pull the baseball, trying to do damage. Puig will swing at anything, thinking it was a fastball count. That's why it was a good pitch by Chatty.
Puig to first, 5 walks, and that'll bring up Hernandez.
14, Kike Hernandez.
5 walks matches a season high. He walked 5 Twins in 5 innings on May 18th at Target Field.
Coors Field is available year-round for special events, and most areas of the ballpark can be reserved. Call 303 Rockies for more info. Second time in as many innings for Steve Foster to talk to Tyler Chatwood. Corey, what do you think he's saying to him?
I think he's just telling him slow down. You know, when Chatty gets going bad, he doesn't stay back over the rubber, and he fights that release point. And when he does that, you know, when we see him at home and he makes mistakes or misses, they're typically up in the zone. In the road, they're typically down in the zone. I just think he just gets a little ahead of himself.
3 runs for the Dodgers. They have only 3 hits. Hernandez had an RBI single after 2 walks in the second. Ball and a strike.
You know, Spilly, in that regard, too, you know, the homer by Jock Peterson, you could argue, is the only mistake he's made, but that was the one sinker he got up, the 1-2-seamer up. Jock jumped him, and I'm sure that's in his head that he doesn't want to miss up in the zone.
Called strike 2, 1-2.
It's always a baseball cliche, but it is true. Solo home runs will not kill you.
He hasn't landed a breaking ball yet. He's had that issue sometimes when he's gone out on the road in his first road start after being at home, finding the release point. Grandal at second, Puig at first. A run in, actually 2 in this inning after the error. It's 3-2 now. Pitch count really starting to load up. 70 pitches in 2 2/3.
That was a 3-1 fastball that Kike jumped. Chatty had him in a count where he could get the punch out. Looking for the off-speed pitch, but not trusting it enough.
And that's another walk. So the bases are loaded. The only good news is it's Kershaw coming up.
Number 22, Clayton Kershaw.
Kershaw is going to take a strike. He may take 2, I would think.
He might take till he gets it 2 strikes. It's crazy.
2-0.
It's hard to watch because you can see the frustration building in Chatty.
Chatwood last year in a game walked 8 against the Braves. You don't want to see anything like that. But he's obviously not in a good place right now. 3-0 on Kershaw with the bases loaded. And he walked him on 4 pitches. 4-0. Chris Russin just got up, and there was a jog to the mound. Now Murphy's going to go out. You can't manage this. You can't defend it. And again, you don't see it coming. The first inning began with a strikeout of Utley on, I think I'm trying to remember, it may have been 3 pitches. He struck out Peterson quickly, then he walked Turner, and then he got the fly ball to fairly deep left field off of Bellinger. 1 walk, so okay, you could say, well, but there was nothing really in that first inning to send off alarm bells.
It's only been 3
Second
hits.
inning, he began with a strikeout of Grandal. Utley, 9th man to come up, and now you're not going to get anything that's fringy like that pitch.
Yeah, right on the edge of the Subaru strike zone.
If he doesn't get Utley, then that'll be all. You would think. You got to have a fighter's chance now, already down 4-0. Two and one. .78 pitches, 43 out of the zone. 2-1, and that's there. 2-2. Up the middle, DJ slides to first, out at first. A great play by LeMahieu. In the inning, 3 runs for the Dodgers as they hit around. 7 walks in the game for Tyler Chatwood. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Some news around the world of baseball. James Shields, the 81st pitcher with 2,000 career strikeouts. Got it for the White Sox today. Cole Hamels will get back off the disabled list on Monday. He's been out for almost 2 full months with an oblique strain. Jason Vargas won today, so he has 11 victories. Kershaw has 10 victories. KC has come on. They've won 5 straight series. Here in LA, the Rockies are playing uphill. They're down 4-0. And they'll have Mark Reynolds, Ian Desmond, and Trevor Story to face Kershaw in the 4th. Kershaw has retired 8 straight after throwing 35 pitches in the first inning. The Rockies loaded the bases, but Kershaw got the big outs. Desmond a strikeout with the bases loaded. Trevor Story a strikeout looking with the bases loaded. Rockies desperately needed a big quality start after the last 3 have been rough, and it looked like Chatwood was going to deliver that, but obviously Tyler even more so than normal, battling command. 7 walks in 3 innings. And Kershaw with the best curveball he's thrown tonight. Reynolds walked in the first. Just the 18th walk Kershaw has allowed all year.
Well, it's important for the Rockies offense to start going. And missing out in the first inning, not to put a run across the board, you're asking Chatty to hold the Dodgers to 0.
Well, you know going in, this, Billy. I think you know this as a position player. Sully, you know this as a position player, and you know it as a pitcher, a starting pitcher, that there's probably a 90+% chance it's going to be a low-scoring game. You have to do your part. You can't go into a ball game thinking you're going to throw up a 6 or 7 spot when Kershaw's on the other side. And to your original point, yeah, you have to find a way to take advantage of the typically minimal opportunities you get against a guy like Kershaw. 2-2.
I just think when you have the opportunity to get productive outs, when you have the bases loaded and the out can get you a run, those are the ones you have to capitalize against Clayton Kershaw. He doesn't make many mistakes over the middle of the plate.
Two, and a called strike through.
Generous strike call by C.B. Buckner behind the plate on the Subaru strike zone. Several inches wide.
Yeah, that's not close. Here's Desmond with 1 out. Slider on the outside corner, 0-1.
I think you can see Clayton Kershaw too is starting to smell it. He's starting to really start to settle in, work fast. He's attacking the strike zone. He's getting ahead in counts. Both hitters.
So much easier to pitch when you have a decent lead. And Kershaw gets Desmond to chase out of the zone. It's set up by being ahead, though. 5 strikeouts now for Kershaw. That'll bring up Story. The Rockies score 7 runs in a game. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Kershaw has retired 10 in a row. The final 19 last night were retired by Dodgers pitchers. 0-1. Well, not only is he getting ahead, his pitchers are much sharper than what we saw in the first inning, especially the curveball.
And his pace, he has picked it up. He's getting that confidence back. He's coming right after Rockies hitters, grabbing the baseball, waiting for the batter to get into the box, and then just comes after you. Wasn't doing that in the first couple innings.
One and 2. That's a good step out by Story. I've always felt like if we're uncomfortable up here with the amount of time it's taken a pitcher to deliver a pitch, you got to be really tightening up in the box. Here's the 1-2. Talking about LSU earlier. Story drafted by the Rockies out of high school, high pick. Had he not signed with Colorado, he was going to go to Baton Rouge, play for the Tigers.
I was surprised when Trevor told me he chose that he was planning on going to LSU. I think you assume, being from Spring, Texas, that you'd go to Texas A&M or UT.
LSU recruits a lot of Texas kids. Their current shortstop is from Texas. Good job staying off that high fastball. 2-2.
I think this at bat is very indicative of how good Clayton Kershaw is. Trevor, I would say, is as locked in as anyone right now in this at bat. He's fouling off tough pitches, but Clayton's just not going to give him anything to barrel. You have to just continue to have the chess match. Which one's going to give in?
And the curveball ends the inning. That is strikeouts 4, 5, and 6 in the inning for Kershaw. 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. The Dodgers in front. Leading 4-0 over the Rockies. It'll be Peterson who led off last inning with a home run to face Tyler Chatwood. See the line on Chatwood, 80 pitches in already, and the big number is the 7 under the walk category. Strikeout and a home run to center for Peterson. And the curveball misses. And I said this last inning, I don't recall him throwing a curveball for a strike.
A strikeout of Yasmani Grandal with it.
He tried again, missed. It's 2-0. The leash, you would think, would be very short this inning for Buddy. He had Russin up last inning, so it'll take him a little less to get ready. 3-1. That's on the inside corner. 3-2. Last 2 road starts, or last 3 road starts for Chatty. He's walked a total of 4. 1 at Pittsburgh, 2 in Chicago, 1 at San Diego. And he just walked his 8th batter of the game. It's exasperating for Tyler. It's exasperating for Buddy. Mentioned that he walked 8 in a game last year against the Braves. Turner 2 walks tonight. Oh, and 1 to count. Chris for the second time is up. Again, it'll take him less volume to get ready.
The way he looks like he's getting warmed up, my assumption is it's for Cody Bellinger.
Corey, you pitched in college. I don't know if you ever battled a start or several starts where you really couldn't throw strikes consistently. What kind of lingering effect is there as this ball is going to be played in foul territory by Nolan?
There's unquestionably a lingering effect. As you can see, Bud Black's headed out now. It's just one of those things that you've got to fight through. You've got to move on. I think I had an advantage then, obviously, because I also hit.
But yeah, now you worry going forward. I mean, this is not completely atypical. Obviously, Tyler's had issues before with walks, but 8 in 3 1/3. Tough night. On Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. That is LA lit up. It's also LA Live. A couple minutes up the road at Dodger Stadium. It's not a pretty picture for the Rockies after 3 1/3. Buddy Black had to take the baseball from Tyler Chatwood. He gave up only 3 hits. The problem, walks, 8 of them, matching a career high. 1 out. Peterson at first, Bellinger coming up, and Chris Russin will make his 28th appearance.
Russin last pitched on the 20th. Faced 1 batter, gave up a hit. But you're looking at him to eat up some innings today. Season high is 3 1/3. That dates back to April the 13th.
Bellinger's 0 for 2, a couple of flyouts. This is the first truly rough ride through the rotation, or through a good portion of the rotation, that's occurred all year. Hoffman had been brilliant, and he had the real tough outing against Arizona. And then that was followed up by another rough outing against the Diamondbacks the other day.
4 quality starts for Tyler in the month of June.
That's a terrific play by Reynolds to get the force.
Catcher Yasmani Grandal.
But between Hoffman and Senzatella, it was a rough week. Nice play by Mark Reynolds to get off the bag, get to it. You can see on the Subaru Supermo, this is one of the problems I have with the new neighborhood rule, is that you're forcing a guy like Trevor Story to stay on the base longer than he should.
Well, it doesn't do what it was intended to do. It takes safety away from the middle infielder. So going back, you had Hoffman, the first rough start. Senzatella, who has been terrific this year, rough start. That goes foul. Last night, Freeland got through 6 innings, gutted it out, but gave up 5 runs, and now the start for Chatwood. It's the first time all year where you had 4 in a row, real, what you call subpar, no question, especially the first 2, and last night for Freeland, all subpar outings. You're going to have periods like that, and then you got to flip it around. It'll be on Tyler Anderson tomorrow, and this game's long from over. It's a 4-run game in the 4th inning. But Tyler Anderson, who, by the way, is going to get the start tomorrow, we often have said, it's fouled off on a check swing, that pitching and hitting can become contagious. Starter has a great outing, all of a sudden you throw up a good outing, next guy's like, man, I got to match that. The same thing with when you pass the baton offensively. There's a matchup tomorrow, and every guy you draw in the Dodgers rotation is a tough ball. Brandon McCarthy, some of the analytics behind McCarthy this year suggest that he's pitching at the top of the food chain with Alex Wood in front of Clayton Kershaw, as crazy as that may sound.
It does sound crazy.
But you've seen those same numbers.
The numbers are remarkable.
Colorado Springs native doesn't have great numbers against the Rockies. Hopefully that'll continue. Nolan will go the long way. And that's all for the Dodgers in the 4th. We'll go to the 5th. See if the Rockies can get it going against Kershaw, down 4-zip. take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. Go to @RigSports_RM to cast your vote. Show you the results of the Toyota postgame show. We asked this question last night, but now we're going to do it in the poll version on our CenturyLink high-speed challenge. Do you keep score at home? We'll extend it to the ballpark also. Do you keep score when you're watching baseball? I know Mrs. Lom does at home. Susan Strand's mama, who never misses a Rockies game. Keeps all the score sheets in a file cabinet, I'm sure, neatly from 1993 forward. Did you score growing up, Spilly?
I did. I scored. Whenever I came to a baseball game, I scored the game. And my job, my first year at UC Santa Barbara, when I told you I was a terrible baseball player, my job was to score the game. And so I became an excellent scorekeeper. That was literally what I thought my baseball future was going to be, was scoring a book like this. So mine is immaculate. It is perfect. I am a master at scoring.
Let me see. Yours looks a lot like mine.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah. A lot of notes there. Want to see some red marks on the Rockies side. Tapia with a 1-0 count.
Last year during Vince Scully's retirement, people were asking him what he's done with all the different scorebooks that he had. And his wife told him, after years and years and years, that they misplaced him. Got rid of some of them.
How'd that happen? There was only 67 years to keep track of.
Well, he said he never really thought of it as a keepsake, I'm sure you do the same thing. Do you?
I do. I have.
You have all of them.
I do.
You're a klepto.
But I'm a pack rat. Klepto would be I've stolen
you
something.
Steal stuff, and I've seen you do that too.
Well, that's a different issue. I mean, which issue are we talking about? You only have one issue in an evening, right?
Yeah. Well, you do have nice silverware at your house. I appreciate it.
So, is that why you're following me around your house when I've been there?
I never break out
the fine china.
Yeah, the fine china when you come over.
1-2 on Tapia. And Tapia hits it sharply, but it's right at the second baseman, Logan Forsythe.
Could you imagine the history of those scorecards of Vin? The amount of no-hitters he's called, the World Series he's called.
What was the final tally? Was it 19 or 20 no-hitters?
Something like that. He's and you get Don Larson's perfect game.
A remarkable, beyond remarkable career. And they do things in-house still. Kind of a Dodger history with Vin still. So when you're at Dodger Stadium, Vin hosts those things. They're pre-produced up on the video board. Vin's microphone retired. You come into the ballpark on Vin Scully way. 0-1 on Murphy. 12 in a row set down by Kershaw. And we warned of this. Not that we had great foresight. You just seen it before. You fans at home have seen it with Kershaw. And you get an opportunity in the first, bases loaded. And then he struck out Desmond and Story. And the Rockies, I mean, have done nothing since then. LeMahieu had a ball to deep right field. That's it. He struck out half of the 12 that he's retired. Now 7 out of 13. That'll bring up Chris Russin.
Pitcher number 52, Chris Russin.
It was 20 no-hitters for Vin, 3 perfectos.
It's also part of Henry Aaron breaking Babe Ruth's home run record.
Russin takes a strike. And another. And there's a base hit for Russin on a curveball. So that breaks the string of 13 in a row retired. Chris Russin, who you know handles the bat exceptionally well. His demeanor on the field, it's one of the things I love about Russin. It never changes, man. It's all business. All business when he's on the mound. It's all business when he's in the box. He competes.
He's a gamer.
He is a gamer.
It's one of the best compliments you can give any baseball player. When you watch a guy on a field, and if you want to give him the highest amount of praise using baseball lingo, call him a gamer.
Charlie's a gamer. 0-1 on Blackman, a line drive to right. And he grounded out to third. What you have to hope for against a Kershaw, going back to what we discussed at the top of the broadcast, you're down 4 runs. It's unusual, you know, to go single, double, walk, double, single, triple against a guy like Kershaw. You're not going to bunch typically a multitude of hits. But if you can get a little traffic and then pop one, because he's given up 17 home runs, that's the Rockies' probably most likely ticket back into this ball game. And that's going to be a base hit. And Russin's going to stride for third. So with 2 outs, where the Rockies have been better than anybody in baseball this year. See what happens here. LeMahieu's had 2 high-quality at-bats against Kershaw. He's coming up.
Another good at-bat for Charlie Blackman. Credit Chris Russin for getting this 2-out nightmare started against Clayton Kershaw. This base hit, the Subaru Supermo, is number 100 for Charlie Blackman on the season.
That's more than anybody in baseball. LeMahieu, a double off the left field wall, a short hop the left field wall, and a line drive to deep right that Puig had to go back on and make a catch over his shoulder. That misses, ball 1. So there's Charlie, first man in Major League Baseball to produce 100 hits this year. His former teammate Corey Dickerson leading the American League with 97. One and one.
Now, you don't want the zone to expand. You
Yeah.
know how good Clayton Kershaw is, but the Rockies are trying to battle back. We've seen a couple pitches that Yasmani Grandal has taken. And I know he's considered one of the best pitch framers, but a strike's, it's not a strike.
Well, the most glaring one was the called strike 3 on Mark Reynolds in the 4th inning. Pitch that was several inches outside. He's good enough. He doesn't need a 20-inch plate. 1 and 2 on LeMahieu. First and third, 2 outs. Kershaw threw 35 pitches in the first, so his next pitch is his 90th here in the 5th inning. Two-two.
I like calling 2-out rallies 2-out nightmares, but I will gladly take and see a 2-out nightmare right
It would be a nightmare for the Rockies. It'd be a nightmare for Kershaw, and that's fine. And a line drive caught by Turner. Middle of 5, it remains 4-0 LA. Hey, a reminder, tomorrow on the club after the ball game, we look back on Nolan Arenado's heroics from Father's Day, and Nolan Cargo and Spilly sit down to talk about their historic walk-off moments. Plus, we'll also catch up with the best Rockies golfers at the annual charity golf tournament held last Monday. And we'll go to the Denver Beer Company to help brew the Buddy Black IPA. Haven't tasted that yet, but I look forward to it. All of that tomorrow on a brand new episode of The Club with Ryan Spilborghs and Corey Sullivan here at Dodger Stadium. I'm Drew Goodman. The Dodgers up 4-0. Tyler Chatwood went 3 1/3. He gave up all 4 runs, only 3 hits, but Tyler walked a career high tying 8 in the game. Russin got the final 2 outs in the 4th. It'll be Logan Forsythe, Yasiel Puig, and Kike Hernandez in the 5th. Rockies are trying to do something no team has ever done against Clayton Kershaw in his career. Beat him when he has been in the dugout and the Dodgers have scored 4 runs. When they've scored 4 runs for him or more, he's 92-0.
4 runs is the magic number for Clayton.
I mean, that's ridiculous, right? I mean, he never had a bad game and gave up 5 when the other team scored 4? I guess not. Hopefully tonight's the night. Forsythe, a walk and a fly ball to right. Pitching inside is not just knocking a guy down. It's, Corey, you remember this term from your playing days, moving his feet. So even though that pitch was around the knees, it forced the hitter to move his feet. Makes you uncomfortable, right?
It does, and it sets up the next pitch. The idea is that hard in gets you thinking about inside. It tries to speed you up so that you can exploit that with an off-speed pitch. And as a hitter, it's funny because you don't even think about it. You know that's what they're doing, but you just kind of get lulled into it.
Slider misses 3-2.
Corey, did you ever feel like after a pitch was up and in that it just helped you out as a hitter? It gives you that hyper focus?
I did. It felt like, it made you a little bit more aware, but it also allowed you to think along. What was the purpose of that pitch?
And a leadoff walk for Forsythe. That is 9 walks that the Dodgers have received tonight.
That's going to frustrate Buddy because he had him 1-2. To go from a 1-2 count to a walk without getting a swing on the 3-2 pitch. We know the Rockies defense. It's the best in baseball, most efficient in baseball, with the best fielding percentage in baseball. There's not a lot to do when you have 9 walks.
That's not big league. Puig, he's walked twice. There's only 3 guys in their lineup who haven't walked. Utley hasn't walked. Bellinger hasn't walked. Grandal hasn't walked. Everybody else, the other 6 in the lineup, including Kershaw, have walked.
Buckner missed the last pitch in the Subaru strike zone.
Ball and 2 strikes on Puig. The only guy the Dodgers still have, we haven't talked about this year because he hasn't been in the big leagues, is Trace Thompson. Remember, he was all the rage at one point last year. Clay Thompson's brother.
He suffered the back injury.
Speaking of back injuries, guy who used to play every day, been on the disabled list twice this year, is out, and that's Adrian Gonzalez. Dodgers roll on, though, without him.
Even Andre Ethier.
Ethier, the last few years, though, has had trouble getting on the field. Adrian, before this year, had never been on the DL. One of the great RBI men in baseball over the last 10, 12 years. There's Adrian. And that misses. 3-2.
Adrian was quoted as saying the other day that after this contract is finished with the Dodgers, that most likely, if the back is the way it's been feeling, he will hang him up.
Runner not going, and it's comebacker. Russin, good throw to second. LeMahieu on to first. Almost looked, Sully, like there was a little confusion who had the bag.
Well, I think based on the defensive positioning right there, DJ broke, as we'll watch right here, to actually field the baseball that Chris Russin that caught, and then was right there in position. He's closer to second base, so he breaks. Trevor's breaking to field the ball, and you can see DJ was in position to turn the double play there.
It worked out. 2 gone. Kike Hernandez at the plate. Single and a walk. RBI for Hernandez. He takes ball 1. Kike last year struggled through a tough season that I'm sure was exacerbated by the fact that his father was diagnosed with cancer. And the great news is his dad's in remission and doing much better, we've been told. 1-1. Inside 2-1. on the inside corner. 2-2. Every National League team desires to have a guy like an Amarista, like a Hernandez, who can play infield, outfield. That's 3 or 4 gloves that he brings to the ballpark. Nolan's going to cut in front, throw out Hernandez. So we go to the 6th inning. 4-0 LA.
Dodgers fan, as ESPN is here with the Make-A-Wish program. His name is Ziggy, an 11-year-old from Los Angeles who's been a Dodgers fan since he was 2. Well, he was allowed to be co-manager of the day with Dave Roberts. You can see him exchanging lineup cards with the Rockies and CB Buckner. Dave Roberts took him throughout the Dodgers clubhouse today, including a big no-no, introducing Ziggy to Clayton Kershaw on the day of the start. Now, as Dave is telling the story, he's kind of smiling because he knows not to mess with Clayton. But Clayton was kind of positioned on a leather chair. Ziggy goes up and approaches. They meet each other because Ziggy's favorite player is Clayton Kershaw. And he got to talk to the big guy on the day of his start. The only person that can talk to Clayton Kershaw on the day of his start is this young man, Ziggy. Great day for him. Great day for us to watch it as well.
Yeah, we were just watching him during the commercial break. He was smiling ear to ear. Beautiful evening for Ziggy. 6th inning. Nolan will lead things off. 1 for 2. Nolan, you'll see him do that during batting practice, walking around the clubhouse, walking out on the field an hour and a half before the game, punching that top hand, Spilly.
Just trying to get the good bat path. You see, he'll always remind himself to keep his shoulders back and his chest tall. He's trying to create a good spine angle, as Corey likes to call it. You basically picture yourself on an axis, and that you're basically going to rotate on that and drive and push the bat through that zone. Every guy feels different when they go to the plate. Everybody has a different catchphrase or keyword or thought process that goes through their mind. Charlie Blackmon thinks about pushing a door open with both hands.
Ball's into shallow right center field. Puig's going to make the running catch.
It's a nice play by Yasiel Puig. Good jump on a ball not hit particularly well. And then after he finished his run.
Almost looked like he pulled something.
Yeah, it looked like he hurt himself. Dave Roberts keeping an eye on him. And I think Yasiel is yelling at Jock to get to that baseball. Let's go. That's a lot of ground to cover.
Reynolds a walk and a called strike 3. The 18 home runs leads the Rockies. Blackman 16, Arenado 15. Kind of interesting for me. The Rockies, where do you think they are in the National League in home runs?
I looked this up, so you know I know.
Okay.
I don't.
All right, well then make a guess.
In the National League, I'm going to say 10th.
Really? You're not far off. The Rockies are 8th. There's 15 teams in the National League, so they're right in the middle of the pack, which is not a place you would think they would be. You'd think they'd be near the top. Dodgers have hit more home runs than the Rockies, and this ball is a towering pop-up, and it's leaking back into play. And it's caught by Chase Utley for the second out. Washington has hit 114 home runs. They're number 1 in the National League. Milwaukee has hit 108. The Mets actually are second. They've hit 109. Then Milwaukee. Dodgers have hit 103. Cincinnati 103. Cubs have hit 101. Rockies just 90 home runs. In fact, even the Padres have hit one more than the Rockies, 91. And I look at that as a positive because I think going forward with the guys in the Rockies lineup, I think they're going to hit a bunch more home runs, more than they have been on pace for thus far. You know, Cargo is part of that. You know, Trevor Story has hit 10, but you know, Ian Desmond. Desmond missed a month. He's hit 5. Hopefully Cargo's back in the lineup tomorrow against McCarthy. We'll see. 1 and 2. You know, Nolan's had a really sound, you know, the bar is so high, but a really good first half. But he's led the league in home runs each of the last 2 years, tied with Chris Carter last year. But he hasn't gone on one of those home run binges yet. And that's strike 3 on Desmond. 1, 2, 3, 6 for Kershaw. Alexis look back. After a couple of walks, Hernandez got the Dodgers on the board with a base hit. That was in the second inning. Peterson led off the third with a solo home run. And then a couple more walks. One walk against Kershaw forced in a run. It was a rough night for Tyler Chatwood. In 3 1/3, he walked 8 hitters. He allowed only 3 hits. Rockies down 4-0. This is Franklin Gutierrez pinch hitting for that man, Clayton Kershaw. So Kershaw, 6 shutout innings, took him 103 pitches, 4 hits, 1 walk, and he struck out 8. The Rockies will have to get after that Dodger bullpen, which has the lowest ERA in the National League. 1-0 on Gutierrez, and this is out of play behind home plate. 1-1.
Kershaw amazes me. He was struggling through the first 2 innings. You could see the snakes in his head as he was battling his mechanics. Rick Honeycutt's continued to talk to him because I know today was a struggle for Clayton. You could see it. He was visibly shaken early on. He was trying to figure out the better rhythm. But then once he settled down, it was lights out.
And that is strike 3 on Gutierrez. Chris Russin settled this game down from the Rockies' perspective. Chase Utley with 1 out.
Marvel's Superhero Night at Coors Field is Saturday, July 8th versus the White Sox. Purchase the special ticket package and receive a Marvel superhero-themed Rockies t-shirt.
So, Spilly, I learned of a story last night about our friend and your former teammate, Corey Sullivan.
This ought to be good.
You prepared, Sully?
I'm right here.
All right. That's a strike on Utley. I was talking to Dwayne Espy, who goes way back in the Rockies organization. Second tour of duty as the Rockies major league hitting instructor.
Did he tell you thought Corey was a pitcher?
No. This is a different one. This ball is well hit to right. Long run for Tapia, and that's not going to stand.
Yeah, it's fan interference.
That's fan interference. That's going to be a double. And immediately putting his hands up was Mark Carlson, the first base umpire. And no argument from Utley. Dave Roberts obviously is going to have his video people look at it, but it seemed pretty clear he reached over and down into the field of play. Bob Guerin, the bench coach. Yep. He's in the field of play. That's a double.
The real Coors.
It's not anything more clear than that. Half his body is over the fence.
Yeah, it's not really a conversation. I think if anything, Dave's asking where he thinks that the runner might have ended up. And they can ask that question as well. It's not an automatic double.
Buddy should go out and say, well, listen, you got a 38-year-old guy running, and Tapia's got a big arm. It should be a single. Really? Crowd's booing. I think they're booing the fan.
Yeah, they're booing the Corey Seager fan. Yeah, they're taking him out.
That's why they're booing, because they're.
You got a beach towel and a baseball.
All right, let me finish that story. So, Dwayne Espy was telling me one time it's around noon. He's getting ready to go to the ballpark, waiting in the lobby. Corey comes down, gets in a limo. Big leaguer, right?
Come on.
Corey gets in a limo. He's back 20 minutes later. He made a McDonald's run.
In a limo?
In a limo.
Now, there's some liberty with that story.
So you're not, first of all, you are not out and out dismissing the story as
No, it's just factually incorrect.
Okay, well, now you have
the floor. Was it not McDonald's? Was it In-N-Out?
No, it's definitely McDonald's.
Okay. Were you in a limo?
No.
Were you in a car for hire that was fancier than a 68 VW Bug?
Yes, I was. You remember back when we stayed at the old hotel in Century City?
Yep.
The only thing you could get there were those Lincoln Town Cars. And
that's not true.
Yes, it is.
You could also get a cab, like many Americans
humans
like to use.
There were no taxis in the area.
Suitable for him.
Corey?
Suitable for Corey.
Corey?
Yes.
Suitable, yeah, suitable for Corey. Thank you. Put that parenthetically. Corey, I love you to death. I stayed at that hotel many nights. And you can get a cab there at any hour. Cab.
I could not that day.
Okay.
Or any other day that we stayed there.
Okay. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
The cab fare
to be
cost
honest,
more than the food that he got.
Are you kidding me? It was $80 to go have $4.95 worth of McDonald's.
It was not the first time I took that trip, I can tell you that.
Okay. Well done, Corey. 1-1 on Peterson, and a pick attempt to Story. Ball gets knocked away.
Well, I think Trevor just got spiked in his hand. And Chase will slide feet first, knowing well, I don't think he got spiked. I think the baseball hit him in the thumb.
One and one on Peterson. Strikeout, home run, walk tonight for Peterson. One out, Utley at second. Did you get 2 Big Macs that day?
A couple of double cheeseburgers. In-N-Out was too far.
That would have been really pricey. Well, just in the future, next time you're going on one of those runs.
Yeah, what do you need?
You let Billy and I know. It'd just be.
I owe you after last night, so. Spilly, I'm surprised you were there and he found the combination to his wallet.
Who, Drew?
Yeah.
It's because we left him there with the tab.
It's a mass exodus. 1-2. This is DJ, and he'll throw out Peterson by a step. Going to third is Utley. Good pitch by Russin.
Third baseman number 10, Justin Turner.
2 walks and a foul out along the third base line for Turner tonight.
I think I've told this story before. In his time with the New York Mets, Justin Turner was very fortunate to have a teammate by the name of Marlon Byrd. Justin was not an everyday player and spent a lot of time in batting cages, as most utility players do. And Marlon, towards the end of his career, started swinging with a leg kick and trying to get... What's going on over here? Well, Marlon was telling Justin to swing with more of an uppercut to try to put the ball in the air. And so for the next couple weeks, Justin Upton and Marlon Byrd hitting the cages every single day. And the last month of September for Justin...
What's going on here?
I don't know.
Hold on 1 second. Turner's talking to CB. Chris Russin's looking in. Buddy Black wants to know what's going on. Sully, you're a little closer. Do you have any idea what this is about?
Well, it seemed like Murphy was telling him that he was doing something either from the stretch or the windup, but it was I couldn't tell if it was, you know, the new rule with the balk rule that you have to step back.
Yeah, Chris was involved in that last year.
I think they called a balk on Chris.
No, well,
I mean,
no, they didn't, because
they might have called a ball.
How could they call it?
All right, everyone's confused. This is why the umpires need to get the microphone. Let us know what's going on.
It is absolutely ridiculous that it's 2017 and there's not an explanation for the fans. In every other sport, hockey's gone to the microphone on the referee. I guess basketball hasn't, but they ought to have it in baseball.
Well, Chris Russin, I can read his lips. He's saying that's my motion. His windup is his motion, the way he takes the false step forward.
Third base umpires fielding Colbreth. If a balk was called, then Utley would be in the dugout, and it would be 5-0.
Well, that's why Utley's looking back.
Whatever it was initiated by Turner, I can tell you that.
You know, maybe he said to CB, watch, he balks, and that's why Murphy stood up. And who knows? Like to know, we won't know till afterward. Well, you're telling the story, and you've related that before about how he got the advice to lift the baseball more, and he worked on his leg kick with Marlon Byrd.
And then that offseason, the New York Mets designated Justin Turner for assignment. And so he became a free agent. And immediately after the season, Marlon Byrd called Justin Turner and asked him to hit with him in LA during the offseason. Pretty amazing set of circumstances. By chance, if Marlon was never on the same Mets team, who knows what Justin Turner would have turned into.
And Byrd lives in Southern California, and it made it easy because Turner's from Southern California, Cal State Fullerton product, 2-1. Well, it has paid off, because if you think about what Turner's done since putting on a Dodger uniform, go back to 2014 forward, he has hit .309. There's only 6 guys in baseball that have hit for a better average: Altuve, Cabrera, Brantley, Daniel Murphy, Goldschmidt, and Posey. Big names. 3-1 on Turner, who's already walked twice tonight. You know, whatever was said, at least right now, appears to have rattled or gotten.
Well, I have an idea
Russin
because
out
of the
rhythm.
way, because this is the normal position that Chris Russin starts. And so he has to announce whether he's pitching from the windup or the stretch, because he starts in the same position.
That'll bring up Bellinger with 2 on and 2 outs. That's the second walk allowed by Russin, but the 10th walk allowed by the Rockies tonight. Pitched in last night's game. He's going to pitch the 7th inning for LA. Bellinger pops it to shallow right. DJ going out. He'll make the catch. End of inning. There was a double. There was a walk. 2 men left on. We go to the 7th. The Rockies will try to get after that Dodger pen.
Down 4-0. Looking for an upscale pregame picnic option? Ask about the club level party pack. For only $80 per person, you receive a ballpark buffet, a club level ticket, and an area to mix and mingle before the game. Call 303 Rockies for more information.
So here the 7th, it's Brandon Morrow on. Last night he pitched a 1-2-3 inning at 100 miles an hour. He's been out with injury this year, so it's just his 8th game.
Well, we saw electric stuff last night coming from Brandon. Always had a big arm, had a big arm in his time in Seattle and Toronto.
Morrow last night worked the 8th inning, and he faced Amarista off the bench, and then Blackman and LeMahieu striking out 2 of the 3. It'll be Story, Tapia, and Murphy for the Rockies in the 7th. Rockies down 4-0. The hits are even at 4 apiece. The walks are not. Story caught looking in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 4th. Rockies just 7 hits so far in this series. Trying to avoid their first 4-game losing streak of the season. And Morrow spins one on the first offering.
I've seen a lot of off-speed pitches to begin the count for the Dodgers the last 2 nights.
We were talking about home runs, the fact the Rockies were middle of the pack in the National League, and you would assume that that will rise here in the final 85 ball games of the year. The other thing I think that'll rise along with it naturally, and it has to, is slugging percentage. That is bounced to short. The Rockies are 6th in the National League, tied for 6th in slugging percentage, and it's typically not where they reside. All of that in your 18 games above 500. Tapia strikeout and a ground ball to second. And Rymel hits a fly ball pretty well to center field, but Peterson has it, and that is out number 2 in the 7th. That'll bring up Tommy Murphy.
Catcher Tom Murphy.
Russell's done a nice job. He's due up next. See if he continues. Obviously if Murphy gets on, you're going to go to the bench, and Valleca's already in the on-deck circle. But I think either way, pitch count wise, especially the way Oberg's throwing, he's going to come in.
Well, the Dodgers have been shifting on the Rockies a lot, but it isn't the pronounced shift that we've seen. Seen Kike Hernandez able to take away almost a hit from Nolan in the first inning. Justin Turner took a hit away from DJ, positioning himself off third base from his normal spot. Logan Forsythe just a step to the right of second base. And the guy positioning these Dodgers infielders is Chris Woodward, the one that also is the Dodgers third base coach. And in between every pitch, they look at Chris Woodward, and he is constantly moving them one step to their left or right.
Two strikes on Murphy. Right at Utley. A 1-2-3 7th inning for Morrow. Dodgers lead it 4-0. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich for a limited time only.
That's your number 9. Yes, money,
4-0 LA as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 2/3 for Chris Russell, a scoreless baseball. And he'll hand it now to Scott Oberg in the bottom of the 7th inning. He'll have Grandal, Forsythe, and Puig.
Oberg pitched against the Arizona Diamondbacks and had to pick up 2 innings during that time frame. No runs, no hits, 3 strikeouts.
Only 1 hit allowed by Chris Russell. Walked 2, struck out 1. Good work from Chris. Grandal lifts one to left center field. Charlie's going to have to angle, and it'll be a double for Grandal. His second hit of the night.
Second baseman, number 11.
Another first pitch swing from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Very aggressive with their approach in the first 2 games. Two-seam fastball up in the zone on the Subaru Supermo. Grandal is able to split the gap between Desmond and Charlie.
Forsythe 0 for 1, a pair of walks. Good slider on the outside corner for a strike. Two strikes on Logan Forsythe, product of the University of Arkansas Razorbacks. Grew up in Memphis. Hit a career best 20 home runs last year for Tampa. Sully uses an ash bat. You used ash a little bit, didn't you?
I preferred ash. I thought it was a little bit harder. I liked the sound coming off the bat, and I liked the flame-tempered look. I would tar it as much as I could.
Not many guys left use ash, do they?
I don't think so. I like the palette too, because I would swing shorter bat. I got told by Louisville Slugger when I was playing that if you ever ordered 33s, that nobody ever gets that palette. And we have some of the best wood. And I said, you know what? Send it all to me. So occasionally I'd swing a really heavy bat because the grains on it were like a brick.
96 on that fastball fouled off. That's an unusual combination. 33-inch, 33-ounce bat. Most guys swing 32 or 31.5-ounce bats.
Yeah. So what I mean by palette, though, they have these pre-cut pieces of wood, of the ash wood that is, you know, X amount of inches by X amount of inches, and they predetermine the length for the bat based on the palette. And 33 inches was rarely used at the big league level.
What'd you use, Billy?
It's a 34-inch, 32-ounce bat.
Did you ever drop later in the year half an ounce? Some guys do that.
Some guys do that. I would choke up a little bit more. I just like the heavier weighted bat. Even though it wasn't 33 ounces, 32 is still pretty heavy.
Yep. Oberg couldn't get Forsythe to bite there.
Amazing part is when you're walking into a major league locker, on the board, on the wall, are the companies that are allowed to be used in the major leagues. And for a time being, there was only 3 or 4 different bat companies. Now there's probably, what do you think, Corey, 10?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to say 15 to 20.
And some of the different types of wood now, you'll have Japanese ash, Japanese maple. Varying regions of the United States have certain types of wood that are not the typical ash or maple bat.
Some guys, not a lot, will use birch, which is kind of, for what it's been described to me as a combination, a little harder than ash, not quite as hard as maple, a little more flexible than maple. Guys swinging birch. There are 30 bat companies now that are major league approved.
30.
Yep.
30 of them. Forsythe gone. That'll bring up Puig.
The problem I found with maple is you can have flaws inside the bat that you don't know are there, and you could barrel a ball and they would just explode. That's kind of why ash, you knew when it was broken or cracked.
There's a strike at 97 from Scott Oberg.
The only problem with an ash bat is that if you're using the bat for a while, it will start to fray. It'll start to chip.
This is lobbed into shallow left for a hit. And the ball gets away. Puig moves up.
Puig was jogging to first base. I think there's something bothering him with his legs. I mean, he's not running normal. But as he's rounding first base, he's paying attention to Ian Desmond's throw towards Nolan. Off the bat, Yasiel jammed, falls in front of Desmond, and you can see as soon as Ian made that type of throw, Puig continued to run to second base.
Yeah, this is a heads-up play by Puig and a little bit of sloppiness on the Rockies' part. And you know what? You're right. Something, even though he ran hard there, he was limp in the last 4 or 5 strides. Rockies bring the infield in. Should have been first and third, and a chance for a double play to get you out of the inning. Hernandez at the plate. On the outside corner, it's 0-2.
That pitch was 100 miles an hour from Scott Oberg.
We haven't seen that yet.
I have not seen Oberg touch 100.
We'll do it again. The hacked off fastball. That was
101.
101. Wow. I think the hardest pitch we've seen, he has a big arm, but I think the hardest pitch we've seen from him this year, bunch of 97s, maybe a 98 in there. Slider at 91.
And I'm checking the different websites that we have to see if the Pitch FX matches what we see on the Jumbotron, and 101 miles an hour.
Two and two. The way they're scoring that play, if you're wondering, it's just a single, and he moved to second on the throw. That was a 92-mile-an-hour changeup. With those pitches in red, the designation for red is if it's 97 or above on the Subaru strike zone, it'll flash red.
And the numbers that we saw were correct. 100 miles an hour on the fastball, the 0-1 fastball, and 101 on the third pitch of the at-bat for a ball.
Two. Chris Taylor's on deck to hit for Morrow. Taylor in the starting lineup last night. And he got him. Fastball at 99. Two outs, and that will bring up Taylor. Second strikeout in the inning for Oberg.
Now batting, pitch hitter number 3, Chris Taylor.
Pedro Baez handles the 8th inning on the plus side for the Dodgers. He'll be in the ball game next half inning. Close, not called to strike, 2-0. And 3-0 on Taylor. Three and one. Last June, Taylor came to the Dodgers in exchange for right-handed pitcher Zach Lee. Came down from Seattle. Three and two. Tardy on that swing.
Taylor, another versatile player for the Dodgers. He's capable of playing any infield position. He has played some center field, some left and some right.
Grandal doubled. He is at third. Puig's at second. He had a base hit. See you later. Slider on the inside corner. 2 men left on. Oberg ends up striking out the side. We move to the 8th. The Rockies running out of opportunities. They're down 4-0. Comparison of the two starters, very simply, and tough night for Tyler Chatwood. You walk 8, you don't get to pitch real long, and Clayton Kershaw, after the Rockies loaded the bases in the first, he worked out of it by striking out 2. And after that, he was basically unhittable. Here in the 8th, Pedro Baez is on, the hard-throwing right-hander for LA. He's a setup man for Kenley Jansen. The Rockies will have 9-1-2. Pat Valaika is going to pinch hit. And then it'll be Blackman and LeMahieu.
If the Rockies are going to make any sort of push to win this baseball game, it's this inning right here. Kenley Jansen has been virtually untouchable this year. 30 innings pitched, 50 strikeouts, no walks.
He's basically struck out half of the hitters he's faced. I think he's faced 108 hitters. He struck out, as you said, 50. He's not walked a batter. That's an ongoing record to start a season. So you're right. See if it can happen here. Blake has been good in the pinch. Rockies have been limited to 4 hits in the ball game. 2 in the first, 2 in the 5th. Kershaw also walked one in that, for him, uneven first frame. Three singles and a double by LeMahieu.
Corey, have you noticed the Dodgers have been pitching the Rockies backwards for the last 2 days? A lot of off-speed pitches, regardless of how hard Pedro Baez throws. We've seen all relievers, even including Kenta Maeda last night. Off-speed, and then fastballs with 2 strikes.
Yeah, they've definitely been pitching backwards. I think the book could be that the Rockies are looking to be aggressive. I think especially with a guy like Kershaw, and Bud hinted to this in his press conference today, is you have to be aggressive. When these guys are strike throwers and they're getting ahead, you have to find yourself in counts where you can barrel the ball, and if you're 0-1, 0-2, you're on the defensive. These guys, you just got to tip your cap when they're executing those secondary pitches for strikes.
Valleca keeps the at-bat alive, 1-2.
So out of 4 pitches, Pedro has thrown 1 fastball. For his season average, he uses his fastball 73% of the time. And hitters, like anybody, we like to play the math. We like to play the numbers. We like to guess. By guessing along, you can get in a better position to hit, anticipating where the baseball and what the pitch might be.
Pick one. .98 fouled off. Not playing in Dodger Stadium. First career home run was at Dodger Stadium. One of his family. One gone.
Fielder number 19, Charlie Blackmon.
That'll bring up Blackmon. And Charlie with line drive, 1 hopper that was picked nicely by Forsythe. 2 outs.
Very nice play by Logan Forsythe, ranging to his right. The in-between hop, using his backhand to pick it. Off the bat, I thought this was a base hit for Charlie. It takes in soft hands to pick a in-between hop like Logan just did.
DJ swung the bat really well tonight. Double in the first, line drive to deep right in the 3rd, and he came up in the 5th inning with runners at first and third. Had a great at bat against Kershaw again, and hit a line drive that Turner reached up and caught. Jansen gets all of the bullpen attention, or at least a large percentage of the bullpen attention, when talking about the Dodger relievers. But Baez is a really good setup man. League hitting below 200 against him, a strikeout per inning pitched. They lead the National League in bullpen ERA. It's not unfamiliar territory for them. And that's a fair ball. So DJ with his second hit of the night.
Now, normally a ball down the right field line is a double. Yasiel Puig was shading the right field line and not taking a chance. You're looking to try to get a run here and at least give Nolan an opportunity to hit. Tony Diaz, the first base coach for the Rockies, was pointing right after the ball landed to just stay here on first. Don't take that chance.
Multi-hit games in the National League. Blackman, not surprisingly, is on top. DJ, not surprisingly, is not far behind. 1 for 3 tonight for Arenado. This ball's crushed but foul.
Crush home runs and dominate in your very own Derby competition in the official MLB.com Home Run Derby game on the App Store and Google Play. Download Home Run Derby for free today.
And this is in the air to left field. Bellinger's out there, and the Rockies are done in their half of the 8th. LeMahieu a base hit. Left at first base, 4-0. LA.
of the 8th inning. Catch the best fireworks show in town this summer on Monday, July 3rd, courtesy of Lockheed Martin, and Tuesday, July 4th, courtesy of Coca-Cola and King Soopers, following the games versus the Cincinnati Reds. Well, Mike Dunn comes into the game. He threw a scoreless inning last night, a walk and a strikeout, looking to repeat his mechanics and get that good confidence back. He has looked a lot better in the last couple outings as his slider is starting to come back to form. That's something that we saw before he had the back injuries with the spasms that sent him on the disabled list.
Top of the order, Chase Utley in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kenley Jansen not up. If it was Coors Field, he would be, but it's Sergio Romo. It's not the worst news in the world, is it? High fly ball left field, Desmond coming on. And makes the catch, 1 out. Jock Peterson will be next. He hit a home run to center field to third. Just his 6th of the year. Rockies employ a shift, which they don't do a great deal of anymore, but they do put one on with Peterson. Dunn misses away, ball 1. And that's 3-0. With the home run by Peterson tonight, it's now a home run in 16 straight games for the Dodgers. Their all-time record's a home run in 24 straight. That was set, of course, by that 53 Dodger team playing at Ebbets Field. You remember that team, Spilly?
No, I don't.
The last time they had hit a home run in 16 straight games was 1956. It had never happened since the Dodgers moved west in 1958. Dunn trying to get Peterson 3-2. And he did. Good pitch on the inside corner.
Jock Argreen balls and strikes with CB Buckner.
Third baseman number 10.
At the bottom of the strike zone.
Justin Turner.
Dunn driving that fastball down to the zone. Too close to take.
Justin Turner tonight has walked 3 times, 0 for 1. Good curveball. Dodgers 41-11 their last 52 games at Chavez Ravine, 1-1. Romo pitched in last night's game as well. Two and one on Red Turn, as he's known on Twitter. You understand why he's known as that, Billy?
Red Turn 2. Yeah, he's got red hair, and he's used to be a second baseman. Turn 2.
Ding, ding, ding. Nothing gets by you. 3 and 1.
I am pretty sharp.
You are.
Corey's not.
Center field. So we go to the 9th. The Rockies need a significant rally, down 4-0. Cardinals will be first up against Romo. A reminder, fans follow @Root Sports _RM on Twitter to receive alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more in a game. You know this song they play in the 9th inning here at Dodger Stadium?
Well, it's because it's Sergio Romo. It's not like it's there.
So they play it only when Sergio comes in?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
because he's
why.
come in the last 2 nights. Otherwise, they play California Love.
I find that song very annoying. I just want to be on record as saying that.
Fair enough. I know Dave Roberts is trying to get Sergio Romo going. Reinstated on Monday from the disabled list. Back-to-back nights.
There's that slider he throws more than half the time. It misses ball 1. Reynolds a walk in the 1st. Strikeout in the 4th looking on a pitch that was away, and he fouled out. No swing.
Kenley Jansen is looming in the Dodgers bullpen.
Rockies have German Marquez up in the bullpen also. He's scheduled to pitch Monday in San Francisco. And Tyler Anderson tomorrow. If you missed it earlier, John Gray worked 5 innings. This ball is fair, broken back. Turner's got a long throw. 1 out. John threw 94, 96 pitches tonight. Allowed 1 run, struck out 6. He walked 4.
The fielder number 20, Ian Desmond.
Ian Desmond trying to snap out of a rough stretch. Ian is 0 for his last 17 with 11 strikeouts. Yeah, hopefully the Rockies can get Cargo back in the lineup, get Cargo going. This last night's game didn't start tonight either, with a slight strain in his right shoulder. Swinging the bat in that finale against Arizona on Thursday. Desmond taken the whole way. It's a strike.
Even in a 2-1 count, Sergio Romo is going to go to his slider. You're always hoping for fastball. Most hitters want fastball, but this is a guy, 3 different types of sliders, much like Adam Ottavino. He has a hard one. He's got the slow one that has a lot more movement. And then he can change the sweeping movement of it as well, sharper or longer.
He went fastball there. That's a reach back there, 86 these days. It's one of those deals, you know it's coming, Spilly, and obviously it's really effective and hard to pick up because guys typically have not hit it. 3-2. And Desmond hits this one to Turner as well. 2 guys. That'll bring up Trevor Story.
Shortstop number 27, Trevor Story.
Other than a Chris Russin base hit, bottom of the lineup tonight has not reached base.
Well, the Rockies' best chance to score, and we talked about it at the time. First inning, bases loaded, 1 out against, at the time, a struggling Clayton Kershaw. But he struck out Desmond and he struck out Story to end the threat, and there really hasn't been much of a threat since then. Story takes a strike. Rockies with 2 outs at first and third in the 5th. LeMahieu had a high quality at bat, lined out. Rockies just 5 hits tonight. Last night they had only 3 hits and a 6-1 loss. You can talk about that, but this sport will always come down to what the starting pitcher does. They set the table, they set the mood of the team, is one way to describe it. And if you can throw up zeros, you know, Dodger Stadium against a high quality staff, again, you're typically not going to put up a big number. But if your guy's dealing, it gives you, I'm sure, some offensive momentum, as strange as that may sound also, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does, but I think when you're on the road and you have a pitcher of Clayton Kershaw's caliber, to not punch him early in the game, it sets your tone back. I mean, this is a Dodgers team that's won 14 out of 15.
2-1 on Story. And that locked him up, 2-2.
And he mentioned the number for Clayton Kershaw with the lead of 4 runs, 92-0.
Crazy. Two on Story. Dodgers have now won 9 consecutive games. They've won 10 straight at Dodger Stadium, 15 out of 16. And the Rockies, for the first time in 2017, have lost 4 straight games. Kershaw gets the win. He joins Jason Vargas as the only 11-game winners in baseball. Kershaw's now 11-2. He went 6 shutout innings. And Tyler Chatwood takes the loss. He drops to 6-8. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, provided as it often is by the game's best pitcher, Clayton Kershaw. After the Rockies threatened in the first, he shut him down in the next 5 innings. Kershaw with the victory. Now 137-62, a winning percentage of about .690 in his great career. And it was a great evening for that young man as well. Final score 4-0 Los Angeles over the Rockies tonight. To our Denver studios, here's Mark Stout. Mark?